Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Crime Scene channel. Kindly consider like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on our content. In today's video, we delve into the intriguing case of the Dubberly family prior to 1988. The Dubberlys enjoyed a content life in Unraveling with regular church attendance, and a lack of any disturbances characterized their peaceful existence. However, on June 14, 16-year-old Wayne Dubberly discovered a disconcerting letter in the mailbox. The letter menacingly demanded the family's departure from Florida, threatening dire consequences if they failed to comply. Upon revealing the letter to his parents, Peggy and Pi, Peggy expressed concern, while Pi dismissed it as a mere prank. Fast forward to October 23, 4 months later, when Peggy suddenly fell seriously ill. She complained of nausea and extreme pain, accompanied by significant hair loss. As her condition deteriorated, Pi adamantly refused to take her to the hospital. A week later, Peggy slipped into a coma, and Wayne began experiencing similar symptoms. By December 2, the police identified the cause of their illness as thallium, a lethal chemical found in rat poison. Subsequent testing revealed elevated levels of thallium in all family members, including Pi. The life-threatening mystery surrounding Wayne and his family remained unresolved, with the hope that an undercover agent might apprehend the killer before claiming another victim. The act of poisoning someone is exceptionally rare and requires a level of intelligence, as it is not a brute force method. The perpetrator was described as an exceptionally cunning and malevolent individual. Even as the investigation unfolded, Pi, Peggy's husband, made unsettling jokes about being a prime suspect, nervously laughing it off. In the year 1988, Wayne Dubberly, the 16-year-old, lived happily with his family. Peggy, his mother, worked as a waitress at a local diner. After raising 3 children on her own, Peggy married Pi Carr, who brought 2 children into the family. Despite the appearance of happiness, there were underlying complexities. Dwayne, the youngest child, emphasized his mother's unwavering love for him. Their journey had witnessed numerous heartbreaks, setting the stage for a captivating and mysterious narrative. Additionally, Dwayne Dubberly expressed that his mother had faced challenges in her life, and he had hoped that Pi would be the one to bring stability. The nuclear family moved to the tranquil town of Unraveling, Florida, an ideal place for raising a family, where incidents were rare and doors remained unlocked. On October 23, in the early morning, Peggy headed to work. Shortly after her arrival at the diner, Peggy began experiencing discomfort, with burning sensations in her legs and feet and intense chest pain. By the time she reached the hospital, she was almost incapacitated. Despite thorough testing, doctors were unable to diagnose her, and Peggy left with only a prescription for pain. In bed at home, Peggy's condition worsened. She couldn't move, open her eyes, and was plagued by nausea. On October 30th, a week after the initial symptoms, Peggy, her son Dwayne, and stepson Travis were urgently taken to Winter Haven Hospital, all displaying identical symptoms: vomiting and extreme dehydration. Dwayne described the pain as unbearable, feeling like a myriad of needles wrapping around his foot. Fearing for his life, he and Travis cried, believing death was imminent. In the intensive care unit, infectious disease specialist Robert Van Hoek observed a concerning sign: Peggy was losing excessive amounts of hair. Suspecting poison, he ran a specific test for thallium poisoning, the substance once used in rat poison until its ban in 1972. Thallium ingestion can lead to delirium, paralysis, and death, with no known cure. The gravity of the situation intensified as the doctor recognized the severity of the potential poisoning, a threat not easily detected by regular lab test. Following the confirmation of thallium poisoning in Peggy's system, the test results revealed a shocking 50 times the maximum survivable amount for a human. On October 31st, Peggy lapsed into a coma. Travis, her stepson, required a respirator, and Dwayne, her son, showed no signs of improvement. Dwayne, waking up in the hospital, frantically sought information about his mother's condition. Despite excruciating pain, Dwayne insisted on being taken to see his mom. Witnessing her emaciated state without hair and weighing around 90 pounds was a heartbreaking shock. Desperate, he clung to the hope that his mother could hear him, as others reassured him of her awareness. In response, authorities, led by Detective Ernie Mincy of the Polk County Sheriff's Office, launched a thorough investigation to identify the source of the poisoning. Their primary goal was to eliminate the poison from the environment, preventing harm to others. Despite investigating various locations such as the orange groves, water supply, and Peggy's workplace, no traces of thallium were found. Public awareness heightened, causing panic in the community. Journalist Sizzy Shuttlecott described the clamor for answers as people sought assurance about their safety. Sheriff Judd admitted the initial uncertainty surrounding the origin and method of ingestion, fueling concerns about potential future victims. Investigators meticulously combed through the Carr home, collecting over 400 household items for analysis. Among them, a six-pack of Coke bottles, 3 of which were unopened, tested positive for containing over a gram of thallium, enough to be lethal. Detective Mincy considered 2 possibilities: tampering at the Coca-Cola factory, or a targeted attack on Peggy and her family. Collaboration with Coca-Cola ruled out factory tampering, leading Detective Mincy to focus on the second scenario. The investigation turned toward potential suspect, with initial suspicion falling on family members. Peggy's husband, Pi, became a person of interest, especially when Peggy was severely ill, and Pi showed no apparent symptoms. The investigative spotlight thus shifted towards the family's internal dynamics in the pursuit of the truth. The investigation delved extensively into Picar's background, seeking any motivations for poisoning his wife. Despite their recent marriage, signs of strain emerged. Pi's long hours at the mine and suspicions of infidelity arose. On the weekend Peggy fell ill, Pi conveniently happened to be out of town. Even when Peggy's condition worsened, Pi resisted hospitalization, prompting Dwayne to take charge and transport his mother against Pi's dismissal. Evidence appeared to point toward Pi, with even Dwayne considering him guilty of mistreating his mother and potentially poisoning her to escape the marriage. However, Detective Mincy faced a dilemma. Why would Pi poison his own son, Travis? During interrogation, Pi disclosed a perplexing detail. 4 months before Peggy's poisoning, Dwayne had found a threatening letter in the mailbox, addressed to Pi with a misspelled name. The letter warned the family to leave Florida within 2 weeks, or they would all die. Despite this ominous note, the family had dismissed it as a joke. Detective Mincy uncovered another disturbing incident involving the sudden deaths of 2 Carr dogs a few years earlier, displaying symptoms similar to thallium poisoning. Speculations arose that Pi may have experimented on the dogs. As Peggy's health deteriorated, tests revealed thallium in everyone in the household, including Pi Carr. However, the detective reasoned that someone knowledgeable enough to commit the crime wouldn't risk ingesting thallium themselves. The tragedy escalated as 2-year-old Casey, Peggy's granddaughter, also tested positive for thallium. On March 3, 1989, after 5 months of suffering, Peggy's family faced the heartbreaking decision to remove her from life support. Peggy Carr passed away at the age of 41, leaving the nuclear family shattered. Dwayne and his siblings, slowly recovering from the poisoning, were sent to live with relatives, while Pi and his children vacated the abandoned house in Alturas. Detective Mincy, confronted with Peggy's death, shifted the investigation to murder. Poisoning someone, especially with thallium, is exceptionally rare and suggests a disturbed mind with a high level of intelligence. The FBI's examination of the contaminated Coke bottles revealed meticulous tampering. Tiny scratch marks indicated careful opening, Valium addition, and resealing. This sophisticated act required an intricate knowledge of chemistry, leading authorities to believe they were dealing with a highly intelligent and elusive perpetrator. Police questioned all Taurus residents extensively, focusing on the closest neighbors, including George Treple and his wife, Diana, whose reactions to the cars raised suspicion in the investigation. Continuing the investigation, Detective Mincy questioned George Treple, a neighbor living next to the cars. When asked why someone might want to poison the Carr family, Treple's response mirrored the content of the threatening letter and insistence that someone wanted them to leave. Treple accurately repeated the letter's message, raising suspicions as this information had been known only to law enforcement. Further scrutiny revealed that George Treple and his wife, Diana, were highly intelligent individuals with memberships in Mensa, an elite society for people with high IQs. Additionally, George had a background in chemistry and had served time in prison for his involvement in a major methamphetamine laboratory. Valium, a component often used in amphetamine production, became a significant point of interest. Despite Treple's surprising status as a person of interest, Peggy's son, Dwayne, expressed disbelief, believing Treple incapable of such harm. Detective Mincy discovered a prior argument between Treple and the Carrs over loud music, potentially providing a motive for revenge. However, the lack of concrete evidence hindered the authorities' ability to make an arrest. The FBI proposed an unconventional approach, sending an undercover agent to infiltrate Treple's social circle and gather information. Detective Ernest Mincy assigned Special Agent Susan Gorick to the case, instructing her to attend a Mensa murder mystery weekend hosted by Treple and his wife. Under the alias Sherigan, Susan Gorick posed as a woman on the verge of divorce from an abusive husband. On April 14, 1989, she attended the event at a local hotel where Treple welcomed her. Face to face with the suspected killer, Susan sought any signs of recognition, but found none. Knowing Treple's non-confrontational nature, she played along with her undercover role, fully aware of the potential danger. Sheriff Judd warned Susan that Treple might poison her for a slow, painful death, rather than confront her directly. Susan introduced herself as Sherigan during registration, receiving a packet of information created by Treple himself, containing well-planned murder scenarios. One scenario involved poisoning, and a paragraph in the report eerily echoed the message received by the Carr family before Peggy was poisoned. Recognizing the similarity, Susan felt confident that Treple was the right suspect. Engaging in conversation with him, she was cautious with her words, fully aware that any mistake could be life-threatening. As the weekend unfolded, Susan confided in Treple about her plan to move to Florida to escape her husband, subtly extracting information that could potentially link him to the crimes under investigation. Continuing her undercover operation, Detective Gorick received a crucial piece of information from George Treple: his consideration of selling their house and moving his wife's practice. Her supervisors encouraged her to extend the operation, and Susan realized this could be an opportunity to gather evidence for a search warrant. During the tour of Treple's house, Susan discovered some suspicious items, including a secret passageway and a mannequin with bondage-related items. However, this wasn't enough for a search warrant. Treple spoke about the safety of all tourists, emphasizing that no one locks their doors. As the undercover operation progressed, Susan continued meeting Treple over several lunch dates, monitored by a surveillance team. Despite collecting small pieces of evidence, it wasn't sufficient to build a case against Treple, raising concerns among her supervisors about the operation's value. Susan, driven by the potential threat to her own family, felt a personal responsibility to bring justice to Petty's family. In December 1989, Susan received the news she had been waiting for. George and Diana Treple had moved out of town and granted Sheridan permission to move into their home. Susan, now legally allowed to invite the crime scene unit, focused on finding residue traces instead of expecting to locate thallium, directly collecting samples from the garage, including vials and chemistry bottles. The crime scene unit hoped to find evidence of thallium. While awaiting the FBI lab results, Susan continued her undercover role, running out of scenarios to put Treple through as time passed with no lab results. Susan took matters into her own hands in January 1990. Faced with the urgency to act, she attempted to trick Treple into incriminating himself. Unbeknownst to Susan, Treple was also setting a trap for her, arranging a meeting behind a McDonald's in Sebring. In the recorded meeting between Detective Gorick and George Treple, Susan revealed that two detectives had come to talk to her when she moved into Treple's house, a fact unknown to the public at that time. Treple, visibly nervous, was handed a business card that Susan claimed the detectives had left behind. His behavior began to change, and he repeatedly asked her to come to his new house. However, Susan declined the invitation, and after the meeting, Treple walked away visibly shaken. On April 1, 1990, Susan received an unexpected call, confirming that the FBI had found thallium in one of the vials collected from Treple's garage. The compound matched the one used in the murder of Peggy Carr and the attempted murder of her family. Armed with this crucial evidence, Treple was arrested on April 5, 1990, in Sebring. Susan witnessed his arrest on TV, seeing the man she had trusted being walked into the Polk County jail. Despite the arrest, Treple remained unfazed even when Susan revealed her true identity as Special Agent Susan Gorick during the search of Treple's Sebring home. A shocking discovery was made. Police found a hidden room behind a pegboard, similar to the one in his previous house. The room had no inside door handle, and the only window had been sealed. Inside, a platform bed with wood stirrups and a pulley system for lifting people was uncovered, revealing Treple's intent to use it for torture. Susan, reflecting on the situation, realized how close she had come to becoming Treple's next victim had she accepted his invitation. The trial against George Treple began in January 1991, presenting overwhelming evidence against him. The items collected at Treple's house during the trial played a crucial role in establishing his guilt. A journal titled General Poisoning Guides was presented, in which thallium was described as the preferred poison for criminals. Treple had handwritten references in the journal about getting rid of neighbors, and all 55 fingerprints found in the journal belonged to him. The prosecutor also showcased the tools used in decapsulating the Coke bottles, revealing tiny screwdrivers, such as jeweler's screwdrivers. When the tool marks were compared to the bottle cap, they matched perfectly with one missing screwdriver from the set. Throughout the trial, Treple remained calm, emotionless, and sometimes even smiling. The jury, however, was shocked by the evidence presented. Treple's evil actions were underscored by his calculated use of thallium, and his justification based on his perceived superior intelligence. The trial lasted for 2 months, but the jury took only 4 hours to reach a verdict. On March 6, 1991, almost 2 years after Petty's death, George Treple was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to death by electrocution. The Dubberly family found closure and relief with Treple's conviction. The genius who believed he could commit the perfect crime was defeated, thanks to the efforts of Detective Susan Gorick. Despite the risks, Susan brought justice to Petty's family, earning the admiration of Dwayne Dubberly, who considered her awesome. The rest of the family members who were poisoned successfully recovered. Dwayne, however, continued to grapple with the loss of his mother. Mother's Day remained a difficult time for him, but he found a way to express his grief and honor his mother by becoming a responsible and proud father. Dwayne Dubberly's life serves as proof that even after tragedy, there is a meaningful and worthwhile life to be lived. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for this channel to see more.